Hey everybody, this is Brendan with Common Motor, and today we're going to introduce our Pulsar series of oversized pistons for doing engine rebuilds on the following families of vintage Honda motorcycles. Pistons for the 175 family, that includes the CB 175, CL 175 Scrambler, SL 175. 350 family, 350 Twin in particular, the CB 350 Twin, CL 350 Twin, and SL 350 Twin. 360 family, that's CB, CL, and CJ 360. The 450 twins, the CB and CL 450s, dual overhead cams. And finally, the CB 550 K and F four-cylinder series of engines. So after years of riding your bike, inevitably your engine is going to need a top-end overhaul rebuild. And when you pull the engine apart and you look at the cylinders, you have to determine, well, are my cylinders within service limit? I mean, have they worn beyond their useful life? And all that information is published in the back of every Honda service manual. It tells you, hey, if the cylinders are over so big, you have to bore them. Really, you need a tool like a dial bore gauge to be able to measure that, to determine, hey, do I need to go overbore or not with my cylinders? And if you go overbore, you have to go with a larger oversized piston to match that overbore. For many years, the situation in dealing with rebuilding one of these old Honda engines has been actually sourcing the oversized pistons. You kind of had one of three scenarios that have come up. The first is the original Honda oversized pistons have been hard to find. They've kind of been used up and they're just kind of randomly floating around new old stock. In addition to that, whatever size you had to go with, you had to find the matching oversized rings, wrist pin, and clips, so you actually have a complete set. So you had to source each piece individually if you're lucky enough to source all those pieces. The second thing was you either have a high performance forged racing pistons, which are usually a really nice piston piece of machine work. However, they're typically very expensive and cost prohibitive to actually do a rebuild on a bike like this. The third option is some of the mystery no-name pistons that have been floating around on the market in places like eBay. A few years back, we were curious about them ourselves, so we brought some in to take a look at them. And we found really quickly that things like the components were wrong in the kits, machining tolerances are off, weights are off, and the overall quality of the product was pretty low. It's something that I wouldn't put in my own personal engine and definitely don't want someone else to put in their engine, because on a part like a piston, all these things need to be accurate and on the money, just like Honda made it. So when we stepped up with the Pulsars, we made sure we hit all those marks and it actually improved upon it from the original Honda designs. Let's talk about some of the details of the Pulsar series pistons we've made. As we mentioned, all the different models that we are carrying them for, we're offering them in both a 0.5 millimeter and 1 millimeter oversized bore, because that works with the stock factory head gasket without needing a custom head gasket. Some of you might realize that Honda also made a couple other sizes originally in overbores. They made a 1/4 millimeter and a 3/4 millimeter oversize. But we found when we've done some engine rebuilding that when you go overbore, typically those smaller sizes, the 1/4 millimeter and 3/4 millimeter, the cylinders are usually too worn to be able to hit those values accurately when you bore the cylinder and clean them up. So you have to kind of bump up to the next size, which is usually a 0.5 mil increment. So that's why we went with the 0.5 millimeter and 1 millimeter, because they are the most common overbore sizes versus the 1/4 millimeter overbore sizes. The Pulsar series pistons are based on the original ART cast pistons that Honda used originally in your bike. But because of modern manufacturing, we have a number of improvements over those pistons that were made back in the day. One is they are pressure cast aluminum and they are CNC machined so that we get better accuracy on the skirt dimensions. Also, we've added this right here on the piston skirts. This is a molybdenum di-sulfide anti-friction coating on the skirt to keep from scuffing in the cylinders and making sure it wears clean. On the top of the piston here, we've added a high temperature hard anodization to the crown and the top ring groove or the ring land. This is for better durability on the crown and also to help disperse heat in the cylinders, because we have to remember all of these engines are air cooled and dispersing heat is critically important. Also, that allows that top ring there not to get stuck in the groove. Sometimes you've taken apart an engine, it's stuck in there. That's called micro welding, where that ring gets stuck in the groove sometimes. So it doesn't happen with that coating there. In addition to the improvements that we've made on the Pulsar pistons, we've also updated the piston rings that are used in the engine. Our top piston ring is gas nitride coated for extra durability. On the wear face, we have a regular cast iron second ring, and most importantly, a nice modern 3-piece oil ring, which makes installation really easy and has better oil control over the old cast iron 1-piece oil rings. If you've ever installed a 1-piece oil ring that's a cast iron on an engine, you understand how difficult they are to put on and easy to break. So this makes life exponentially easier when doing your engine rebuild. We also have new wrist pins that are the correct length, weight, and are machined correctly to fit in the pistons. There's a lot of universal wrist pins that are being sold out there that are all those dimensions and values are wrong and they don't work well in the engine. Also, these are reverse compatible with the factory Honda pistons if they're oversized or stock or whatever. And the proper C-style retaining clips, which work with how the pins fit into the pistons correctly for proper fit. The same oversized piston rings, new wrist pins and clips that come with the Pulsar pistons are also available individually on the Common Motor website. They are all reverse compatible with the original Honda pistons. Again, whether it's a stock size piston or an oversized pistons, our rings will fit, let's say, a 0.5 millimeter oversized piston. We have a 0.5 millimeter oversized ring for that on the original Honda piston. A word of advice when looking to buy the oversized pistons for your cylinders, go ahead and buy the pistons first before you send off the block to the machine shop, because they're going to want to measure the pistons exactly to bore the cylinder to match them up like on the money. We're looking for a cylinder to piston skirt clearance of about 1/1000th to 1/1000th of an inch, so that's 0.001 or 0.0015 in that range there when you're going to the overbore size on these pistons. One last thing I want to touch on is the Honda CB200, CB500T, and CB500K series of bikes. We currently do not have Pulsar pistons for those engines. There's a couple of other ways that we're going to go about dealing with rebuilds on those. So if you have questions about it, you have one of those engines, make sure you contact us through the website and we can guide you on the best process on doing a rebuild on those particular engines. We're really excited about the Pulsar pistons. So we've been working on them for a very long time. We wanted to make sure everything was right and accurate before we released them, and we had them for all the different engines we support across the board. So it's one more piece of the puzzle in keeping all these old vintage Hondas alive and back on the road. So let's get some more miles out of these things and keep riding. With that, it's Brendan with Common Motor, common-motor.com on the internet. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to our newsletter via the website, and of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel down below. Ring the bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time.